In the name of Allah, the Gracious, the Merciful. The Messenger of Allah, peace and blessings be upon him, said, "Every one of you is a shepherd and is responsible for his flock. The leader of people is a guardian and is responsible for his subjects. A man is the guardian of his family and he is responsible for them. A woman is the guardian of her husband's home and his children and she is responsible for them. The servant of a man is a guardian of the property of his master and he is responsible for it. No doubt, every one of you is a shepherd and is responsible for his flock. Verily, every caretaker will be asked about those under his care. Did he preserve that or squander it? Even a man will be asked about the people of his household. Whoever accepts an appointment as a judge, it is as if he has been slaughtered without a knife. The judges are three kinds, 2 judges are in hellfire and 1 judge is in paradise. A man who judges without the truth while he knows it, he is in hellfire. A judge who has no knowledge and violates the rights of people, he is in hellfire. A judge who judges with the truth, he is in paradise. If you wish, shall I not tell you what is leadership? The first of it is blameworthy, the second of it is regret, and the third of it is punishment, unless he is just. No man is given authority over 10 people or more but that he will come to Allah on the day of resurrection with his hands in shackles up to his neck. His freedom is his righteousness, or his imprisonment is his sin. The first of it is blame, the middle of it is regret, and the last of it is disgrace on the day of resurrection. Abu Dhar said, O Messenger of Allah, will you not appoint me as a leader? The Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, struck my chest with his hand, then he said, O Abu Dhar, you are weak and it is a position of public trust. Verily, on the day of resurrection it will only result in regret, except for one who takes it by right and fulfills its duties. I love for you what I love for myself. Do not command even 2 people, and do not manage the property of an orphan. The Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, said, Verily, you will crave leadership and it will be a source of regret on the day of resurrection. How nice is the wet nurse, yet how evil is the weaning. Woe to the rulers! Woe to the chiefs! Woe to the trustees! On the day of resurrection, some people will wish that their hair was hanging from the sky and swinging between heaven and earth, rather than had done anything they did. Woe to the rulers! Woe to the authorities! Woe to the trustees! Some people will wish their forelocks were hanging from the star of Pleiades on the day of resurrection, rather than had done anything they did. O Abdur Rahman, do not ask for authority. If it is given to you at your request, you will be held fully responsible for it. If it is given to you without your request, you will be helped by Allah in it. The Messenger of Allah, peace and blessings be upon him, said, Whoever goes to the gates of the ruler will be put to trial. A servant does not move closer to the ruler but that he moves further away from Allah. Whoever goes to the gates of the ruler will be afflicted with trials. The Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, said to Kabi, O Kabi son of Ujayra, I seek refuge in Allah on your behalf from the leadership of fools, for they will become rulers. Whoever has an audience before them, supports them in their wrongdoing, and affirms their lies, then he is not part of me and I am not part of him. He will never meet me at the fountain. Whoever does not have an audience before them, does not support them in their wrongdoing, and does not affirm their lies, then he is part of me and I am part of him. He will meet me at the fountain. O Kabi son of Urja, prayer brings one closer to Allah, fasting is a shield, and charity extinguishes sins just as water extinguishes fire. The Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, said, Verily, rulers will come after me and whoever enters their audience, affirms their lies, and supports their oppression, they are not part of me and I am not part of them. They will have no presence at the fountain. Whoever does not enter their audience, does not support their oppression, and does not affirm their lies, he is part of me and I am part of him. He will be present at the fountain. Surely, there will be rulers after me who tell lies and commit oppression. Whoever affirms their lies and advises them in their wrongdoing, then he is not part of me and I am not part of him. Whoever does not affirm their lies, nor advise them in their wrongdoing, then he is part of me and I am part of him. Verily, the Muslim whose blood is shed is an expiation for him. Verily, the glorification of Allah, the praise of Allah, the declaration there is no God but Allah, and Allah is the greatest, these righteous deeds will endure. Verily, there will be rulers after me, so do not affirm their lies, nor help them in their wrongdoing. Whoever affirms their lies and helps them in their wrongdoing, he will be turned away from me at the fountain. Verily, one of you may speak a word pleasing to Allah, thinking it does not amount to much, yet by it Allah decrees his pleasure with him until the day he meets him. Verily, one of you may speak a word displeasing to Allah, thinking it does not amount to much, yet Allah decrees his displeasure with him until the day he meets him. The Messenger of Allah, peace and blessings be upon him, said. Allah Almighty said, O my servants, I have forbidden injustice for myself and I have forbidden it among you, so do not oppress one another. Beware of committing oppression, for oppression will be darkness on the day of resurrection. Beware of greed, for greed ruined those before you. It caused them to shed their blood and to make lawful what was unlawful to them. Verily, oppression will be darkness on the day of resurrection. Beware of committing injustice, for injustice will be darkness on the day of resurrection. Beware of obscenity, for Allah does not love obscenity and immorality. Beware of greed, for it tempted those before you and caused them to make lawful what is unlawful, to shed blood and sever their family ties. Two kinds of people from my nation will never receive my intercession, an oppressive and malevolent leader, and every extremist renegade. The Muslim's is the brother of another Muslim. He does not wrong him, nor forsake him. By the one in whose hand is the soul of Muhammad, no two people who love each other for Allah and then separate but that it was due to a sin committed by one of them. No two people loved one another for the sake of Allah Almighty, or for Islam, then separated from one another but that it was due to a sin one of them committed. Verily, Allah Almighty will give respite to the wrongdoer until he seizes him and they cannot escape. Then, the Prophet, recited the verse. Such is the seizure of your Lord, when he takes hold of the cities while they are doing wrong. Verily, his seizure is agonizing and severe. Quran 11:102. Verily, Satan has despaired that idols will be worshipped in the land of the Arabs, but rather he will be pleased with you for less than that by your contempt for each other, which is a punishment on the day of resurrection. Guard against acts of wrongdoing as much as you can, for a servant will come with good deeds on the day of resurrection that he thinks will save him. Another servant will stand and continue to say, O Lord, your servant has done great wrong to me. It will be said, erase his good deeds. Such will continue until no good deeds compare to his many sins. Verily, the parable of that is like a traveler who settles in a desert among the lands with no firewood, so the people disperse from him in search of firewood and before long they find it and kindle a large fire to cook whatever they wish. Such is the way of sins. Do you know who are bankrupt? They said, the one without money or goods is bankrupt. The Prophet said, Verily, the bankrupt of my nation are those who come on the day of resurrection with prayers, fasting, and charity, but also with insults, slander, consuming wealth, shedding blood, and beating others. The oppressed will each be given from his good deeds. If his good deeds run out before justice is fulfilled, then their sins will be cast upon him and he will be thrown into the hell fire. Beware the supplication of the oppressed, for there is no veil between it and Allah. 3 supplications are answered without a doubt: the supplication of an oppressed person, the supplication of a traveler, and the supplication of a parent over his child. The supplications of 3 people are answered: the traveler, the parents, and the oppressed. Beware of the supplication of the oppressed, for it ascends to the heavens as if it were a flare. The supplication of the oppressed is answered, even if he is wicked, for his wickedness is only against himself. Beware of the supplication of the oppressed, for it is carried above the clouds. Allah Almighty says, "By my might and majesty, I will help you in due time." Beware of the supplication of the oppressed, even if he is an unbeliever, for there is nothing to block it. Do not envy each other, do not outbid each other, do not hate each other, do not turn away from each other, and do not outsell each other. Rather, be servants of Allah as brothers. The Muslim is the brother of another Muslim. He does not wrong him, nor humiliate him, nor look down upon him. Righteousness is here. And the Prophet pointed to his chest 3 times, then he said, "It is enough evil for a man to look down upon his Muslim brother." The entirety of the Muslim is sacred to another Muslim, his life, his wealth, and his reputation. I advise you to fear Allah Almighty, for it will beautify all of your affairs. I said, "Tell me more." The Prophet said, "You must recite the Quran and remember Allah Almighty, for you will be mentioned in heaven and you will have light upon the earth." I said, "Tell me more." The Prophet said, "You must observe long periods of silence, for it will drive away Satan and help you in the matter of your religion." I said, "Tell me more." The Prophet said, "Beware of too much laughter, for it will deaden the heart and take away the light on your face." I said, "Tell me more." The Prophet said, "Speak the truth, even if it is bitter." I said, "Tell me more." The Prophet said, "Do not fear the blame of any critic in the matter of Allah." One of the servants of Allah was commanded to be flogged in his grave with 100 lashings. He continued to beg and plead until it was reduced to a single lashing, then his grave became filled with fire. When it was taken away from him, he said, "May I know why you flogged me?" It will be said, "You performed prayer without ablution, and when you passed by an oppressed person, you did not help him." Help your brother, whether he is an oppressor or is being oppressed. It was said, "O Messenger of Allah, we help the oppressed, but how do we help an oppressor?" The Prophet said, "By seizing his hand." 2 young men were fighting, one from the Muhajirin and one man from the Ansar. The Muhajir called out, "O Muhajirin!" And the Ansari called out, "O Ansar!" The Messenger of Allah, peace and blessings be upon him, came out and he said, "What is this call of the people of ignorance?" They said, "O Messenger of Allah, it is only 2 boys fighting and one had kicked the other." The Prophet said, "No matter, let a man help his brother whether he is wrong or being wronged. If he is oppressing others, then stop him, for that is supporting him. If he is being oppressed, then support him. Success comes from Allah, and Allah knows best."